Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're going to cut right through all the noise. We're moving past just looking at a stock's price to figure out how to really value a company, the smart way.
All right, here's the game plan. We'll start with the problem with just looking at price. Then we'll add growth into the mix with something called the PEG ratio. We'll even put it to the test. After that, we'll talk about why cash flow is so important. And then we'll put it all together in your new investor toolkit.
Okay, Section 1, the problem with price. Let's talk about how a single number can be, well, pretty misleading.
So here's the million-dollar question, right? How do you know if a stock is expensive? It's the first thing every investor wants to figure out. And usually the starting point for almost everyone is a little thing called the PE ratio.
The price-to-earnings ratio, or PE ratio for short. It's a pretty straightforward idea. It basically tells you how many dollars you're willing to pay today for every single dollar of a company's yearly profit. So, a high PE, you're paying a lot for those earnings. A low PE, you're paying less. Simple enough, right?
I love this analogy. It's like buying a shot that earns 1 rupee per year, but you pay 33 rupees for it. That nails it. So let's take a real-world example. Godrej Consumer. Their PE ratio is 33. That literally means for every 1 rupee of profit they make, the market is paying 33 rupees for a piece of that company. Exactly like that little shop.
But here's the catch, and it's a huge one. The PE ratio has a massive blind spot. It tells you nothing about growth. So is 33 times earnings a good price to pay? The PE ratio by itself just shrugs its shoulders. It doesn't know if that shop's profits are about to explode or if they're just going to sit there flat year after year.
So let's fix that. Section 2, adding growth with PEG. This is the tool that adds some much-needed context to the price.
So what is this magical PEG ratio? Well, it's actually super simple. You take the price to earnings, or PE ratio that we've been talking about, and you just divide it by the company's earnings growth rate. That's it. PE divided by G. PEG. Easy.
And here's the rule of thumb that makes this so powerful. If you get a PEG ratio of around 1, it suggests the stock is probably fairly valued. The price you're paying is pretty much justified by its growth. If it's way higher than 1, you might be looking at an expensive stock. But if it's way lower than 1, well, you might have just stumbled onto a bargain.
Okay, Section 3, PEG ratio in action. Theory is great, but let's put this thing to the test with a real company.
So how do we actually do this? It's a simple 3-step dance. Step 1, you start with the PE ratio. Step 2, you find the profit growth rate. And step 3, you just divide the PE by the growth. That's all there is to it. Okay, now check this out. Let's go back to Godrej Consumer. Remember, its PE is 33. Now, if we look at its profit growth over the last 3 years, it's about 34%. You divide 33 by 34, you get a PEG of 0.97. Hey, that's pretty close to 1. Looks fairly valued, right? But hold on. If we use the 5-year growth rate, which is 25%, the PEG jumps up to 1.3. Now it's starting to look a little bit pricey.
So, which one is it? Which growth rate should you actually use? This is a super important question because, as you can see, a different number gives you a totally different conclusion. The answer is to look at the trend. Is the company's growth speeding up or slowing down? For Godrej, it's actually been accelerating lately. The more recent 3-year growth is higher than the older 5-year growth. So in this case, that 3-year rate probably gives you a better sense of where the company is headed right now.
All right, Section 4, why cash flow matters. We've added growth, which is awesome, but now we need a crucial reality check on a company's earnings.
Here's a question for you. Are earnings the same thing as cold hard cash? You might think so, but the answer is a big fat no. You see, because of accounting rules, a company can say it made a profit on a sale, even if the cash from that customer isn't in their bank account yet. Paper profits and real cash can be two very different things.
And that's where this next metric, the price-to-cash flow ratio, or P/C, comes into play. Think of it as the ultimate lie detector. It completely ignores those paper profits we just talked about and focuses only on the actual cash a company is generating. It tells you what you're paying for every dollar of real cash coming in the door.
Let's look at Bajaj Consumer. At first glance, its PE ratio is 9. That looks pretty cheap, right? But its price-to-cash flow ratio is 11. So what's that telling us? It means you're paying 9 times its reported profit, but you're paying 11 times its actual cash. The cash flow is lagging behind the reported earnings, and that's a super important detail that the PE ratio just doesn't show you.
And this lets you make some really interesting comparisons. So which company would you choose? Would you pay 11 times cash flow for Bajaj Consumer with its key brands? Or would you pay a little more, 12 times cash flow, for Jyoti Labs and its whole portfolio of brands like Ujala and Maxo? See? The PCF ratio forces you to ask a much smarter question about what you're really buying.
Okay, let's bring it all home. Section 5, your new investor toolkit. The big lesson here is that you never want to use just one of these tools by itself. The real magic happens when you combine them.
So here it is, your new valuation toolkit. You start with the PE ratio. That's your quick first glance, your starting point. Then you bring in the PEG ratio. That adds the super important context of growth. And finally, you use the price to cash flow ratio. That's your reality check. It makes sure that the profits you see on paper are actually showing up as cash in the bank. So, what's the first company you're going to analyze with your new toolkit? You're now equipped to look past just the price tag, to get beyond the hype, and to make way more informed decisions. And why does this matter? Because it gives you the power to stop just guessing and to start really analyzing. And that, right there, is how you become a smarter, more confident investor.